Hello everyone, welcome back to another Starfield video. Today we've got a significant amount of news from an unlikely source. The ESRB, that's the company who does the video game age ratings in North America, they just posted their rating for Starfield. It was rated mature because of blood, strong language, suggestive themes, use of drugs and violence. With this rating, they also posted a description of the game that revealed a surprising amount of new information. So let's dive right in. First of all, I've heard some people say that Starfield has microtransactions because here it says in-game purchases. Games seem to get this label if there are more purchases available than just DLC. Starfield likely has this label due to Creation Club. Creation Club is a marketplace for Skyrim and Fallout 4 where you can buy extra content, which kinda seems like microtransactions, but Creation Club isn't really integrated in the games, in comparison to a Ubisoft game for example, where you can pay for weapons, extra XP and even having undiscovered items marked on your map. The content in Creation Club doesn't affect the base game that much and they are just some fun additions. On top of that, the content is partially made by people outside of Bethesda. That's why the community regards Creation Club more as paid mods than actual microtransactions. With that out of the way, let's get started with the rating summary. This is an open world role-playing game, in which players assume the role of a miner tasked with finding artifacts across the galaxy. The fact that you are tasked with finding artifacts across the galaxy was pretty obvious from the trailers. And that you start out as a miner was never confirmed by Bethesda. However, there also was plenty of evidence for this in the trailers. For people who want to know more about this, I actually made a video about the supposed start of the game. So if you're interested in watching that, be warned, it was my first video on this channel. So quality wise it's not the greatest, but I still appreciate anyone who checks it out. From first or third person perspective, players interact with various characters, complete quests, and search for supplies while battling enemies, like humans, robots, and alien creatures. This confirms the three types of enemies we will be facing in Starfield. Humans and alien creatures we've seen plenty of. I don't think we've seen enemy robots yet, but we did know they were in the game thanks to this perk, which increases your damage against robots by 10%. Players use futuristic guns, lasers, axes, and explosives to kill enemies. Combat is fast-paced with frequent gunfire, cries of pain and explosions. This all sounds in line with what we've seen so far. The only notable thing is that they have listed axes specifically, instead of just melee weapons in general. Even though they only noted axes, I still believe we will see other types of melee weapons in Starfield. With the main reason being that the icon for the perk that increases melee damage is literally a knife. So it would be really odd if they didn't have knives in the game. Next, we have a big new feature that I was personally really hoping for. Attacks on some enemies can result in blood splatter effects. Several environments depict bloodstains on the ground around corpses. This is great news. As most of you will remember, in the showcase last year they showed several combat encounters with very minimal blood and gore effects. When the player shot someone, the enemy just kinda slumped over and died. In this scenario, for example, you would at least expect there to be some blood on the wall behind the enemy. Then we get to the sex part, and it seems very familiar to Fallout 4. The description reads, "The game contains some suggestive material in the dialogue and after sharing a bed with characters." In Fallout 4, when sharing a bed with someone, the screen fades to black and then you wake up together. In Starfield it will likely go the same way, and they actually give a couple of examples of funny dialogue lines that will be said surrounding sex. For example, life is a sexually transmitted disease that's 100% fatal. Or, I'm all for getting a little wild, but next time let's try it without the jetpacks. And lastly, talk about seeing stars. Whew, that was amazing. The last two sound like they would be said after you have done the deed, but the first one probably has another context, cause if somebody says that after sex, that's a bit disturbing. We also have some more news about Aurora. A fictional drug, Aurora, is prominent in the game, with a section involving the player's characters working in an illicit drug lab. Players can also obtain Aurora by stealing or buying it from vendors. consuming Aurora results in a distortion effect on the screen. The fact that we can actually work in a drugs lab and produce some Aurora seems really cool. And my guess would be that you are working for Raijun Industries, which is supposedly the big joinable faction on Neon. Then lastly, they also confirm swearing, with words like fuck and bullshit appearing in the game. And that covers everything. I'm still kinda surprised that Bethesda gave the okay on releasing it right now. I would have expected there to be no major news until the Starfield Direct next month, but I'm certainly happy we did get something. So if you're excited for Starfield and want to stay up to date on the latest news and discussions, I would hit the subscribe button, and then I hope to see you all at the next video.